Good morning, everyone. I'm Herman Lagon. I'm to present servant leadership as a topic in the subject PPE 300, Philosophical Foundations of Educational Leadership and Management, and their Professor Ronnie Lizada. Let me first ask you, who is your servant leader? Who do you think is the best servant leader ever? Or maybe the one present, or maybe in history? Okay? Kindly place them in the chat box, their names, and maybe the reason why you chose them as servant leader. Okay? Because of time limitation, I will proceed, but keep on placing in the chat box your own kind of servant leader, the person and the reasons why you chose them as servant leaders. Okay? Perhaps some of them are here in the picture. Mandela, Maya Angelou, Oprah Winfrey, or maybe Martin Luther King, or Gandhi, etc. They all have something in common. They serve their people very well. And they did not just serve them, they it emanates from them. It's natural for them to serve others. If you can see that the way they speak and the way they say their piece, no, they are all required. Now, who it was Robert Greenleaf who coined servant leadership, and then he coined that in his book, The Servant as a Leader, an essay that he published in 1970. He said that the servant leader is servant first. It begins with natural feeling that one wants to serve, a natural feeling to serve, to serve first. Then conscious choice brings one to aspire to lead. So it's service first before leading. And then he further said that person is sharply different from one who is leader first. The difference manifests itself in the care taken by the servant first person to make sure that other people's highest priority needs are being served. So it's a self-giving, no, a selfless, no, an unselfish way of looking at people, looking at work, looking at things. And Greenleaf also said that servant leadership always empathizes. We will be using this term again and again. A person who sympathizes or empathizes always accepts the person, but sometimes refuses to accept some of the person's effort or performance as good enough. So there are two very important terms here or ideas. Now, the first one is empathy, not just sympathy. So empathy is the ability of the person to feel, in not just to understand, which is sympathy, but to feel, no? To feel the context of the other person, to feel in his shoes. And at the same time, the other idea that is raised here is that uh, we are focusing more on the person and separating the person to the person's effort and performance. We can say that the person's performance and effort is good enough, but the person remains to be valuable and with dignity that we try to protect and serve. Now, Greenleaf also said that a servant leader focuses primarily on the growth and well-being of people in the communities to which they belong. In fact, servant leadership as a leadership philosophy for Greenleaf says that it's more on serving others and not yourself, and not leading by title. When many people sometimes feel or thought that because they're the president or they're the principal or the supervisor, they're already automatically leaders. So it's not, the philosophy of servant leadership is not that way. Your kind of leadership depends on, is measured by the way you lead, the way you serve. Okay, and the way you serve is the way you lead. You're helping people develop and perform as highly as possible. So you're there to push the your people to the maximum, to their maximum, to their ikigai in Japanese. And also they are there to promote genuine team ownership and harnessing the collective power of a team, not just of one person. There are 8 characteristics of a servant leader. For Greenleaf, these are good listening skills, so active listening and observing nonverbal cues to really understand people and their needs. Take note, no? The nonverbal cues are also included in listening. But again, I would like to stress this. Personally, it's difficult for me to do active listening because what it requires is for you to shut down your everything, shut down the way you respond or react on things, and just listen and absorb the information you get from the person with feeling, with empathy. That's the next one. This quality enables the leader to identify with and care for the team members that builds trust and support. Many people feel they know if the person is sympathizing or not. And just like Aina, they can smell it. So empathy here is sincere empathy. And it's not just you're doing it because you're required to do so, but just inherent to you to help others or to feel for others. Then developing others, no, human flourishing. So servant leaders make sure that each and every person in the community flourish. Another one is emotionally intelligent. Oh, the servant leader must know how to deal and understand his own feelings, how to manage it, and at the same time do the same to others. I mean, he's aware, he should be aware of his limitations, emotional and personal limitations, and also biases, so that he would be able to respond very well instead of reacting very well, and be able to understand also how others respond and react to certain things. The next one is the ability to persuade. Listening and the nature of servant leadership enables persuading the team to reach its potential. Remember, leadership is the art and science of influencing others. And if you wish to influence others, you should be persuasive. And persuasion, it may not be enough if you know to speak or you know to use the right words. Persuasion demands a person of integrity, a person that people also trust. No? So the persuasion requires this ability to really make people believe that you are sincere with what you're talking about. Which leads me to the next one, a person who is a big picture thinker. The servant leaders can conceptualize a plan for the way forward, encouraging others to achieve the ultimate vision. It's vision, mission driven person. A person who knows the macro, the bigger picture of all without losing into the details. Because this person, the servant leader, makes sure that his flock, his or her flock, will always go to the same or to the right direction. And that's his task. The next one is listen and be informed. Characteristic, not just listening, but gathering information. This means the ability to gather information and input from the entire team and learning from the previous mistake. A data-driven person, a person who is uh, detailed and who can make sure that decisions are made based on facts, present facts, and the lessons of the past. And then the last one is a servant leader must also see always for the team to add social value. So you don't just do things for your group or for your team or for yourself, for the company, but there must be this social responsibilities component that the leader must have. Uh, Siyempre, di ba, macro level siya. No? So he's not only thinking about the present or the small group, but where it is going forward. No? What is this for the community? What is this in the greater scheme of things as far as service to communities is concerned? And then we also what we call the themes for servant leadership. These are questions. Maybe we will understand these more through questions. And for example, as far as calling is concerned, let's ask ourselves, do people believe you are willing to sacrifice self-interest for the good of the group? You may evaluate yourself and ask yourself about this. Or so on the listening part, do people believe that you want to hear their ideas and will value them? Or do people believe you will understand what is happening in their lives and how it affects them as far as empathy is concerned? Healing is one important thing also in servant leadership. Do people come to you when the chips are down or when something traumatic has happened in their lives? Okay? Are you that kind of person? On awareness, do others believe you have a strong awareness for what is going on or why things are going on? Hmm? Because if they don't, then it's difficult for you to become a servant leader because you need to know the context. How about persuasion? Do others follow your request because they want to as opposed to because they have to? Another one is foresight. Do others have confidence in your ability to anticipate the future and consequences? Meron ka bang foresight? How about conceptualization? Do others communicate their ideas and vision for the organization when you are around? Are you the kind of person where people share their dreams and aspirations about their family, themselves, and about the company or the school? For stewardship, do others believe you are preparing the organization to make a positive difference. And then for growth, do people believe you are committed to helping them grow and develop? Do people feel a strong sense of community in the organization you lead? That's community building. Whenever they see you, do they see you representing the school, or do they see you as a symbol of unity, as a symbol for a community with shared hopes, shared history, and shared ideals? No? So these are the themes on servant leadership, and these are the questions that we may ask ourselves, we may ask others, so that they can also evaluate if they are operationalizing servant leadership in their schools. Now, let me ask you, what's the difference between a traditional leader and a servant leader? So we are familiar with what traditional leaders are. Yeah? We have discussed that in our previous meetings. And now, if we compare traditional leaders to servant leaders, what makes servant leadership different from other forms of leadership, especially traditional leadership? Okay, okay. You type constraints. We can pause this, or maybe we can I can give you more time. You can place some of your answers in the chat box. Okay, what the difference between traditional leader, servant leader? But we have to continue, or maybe we can pause this. Somebody can pause this so that you'll be able to listen to your inputs. So let us proceed. Oh, so traditional leaders, they see leadership as a rank to obtain. We have seen people like that. They want to get this, they want to get that, because that's how leadership for them, what leadership is for them. But servant leaders sees leadership as an opportunity to serve others. No? Not an opportunity to for fame or for power or for wealth, but opportunity to serve others. Traditional leaders use power and control to drive performance. On the other hand, servant leaders share power and control to drive engagement. Engagement. For them, relationship and collaboration and the ability to engage is almost correspondent to performance. So, but they focus more on the engagement, the level of engagement, driving them to engage more, to be committed to their work, rather than performance. So there's a big difference there. Traditional leaders measure success through output. Okay, in the same note, well, opposite to that, servant leaders measure success through growth and development. So growth and development, the other one is more on the output. The other one is the other one is on the process. And the other one is on destination. So which is uh, servant leaders find the process, the development, the growth more important than eventually the output. Because the output will just come when the growth is more sustained and more and people develop along the way. On the other hand, traditional leaders speak, servant leaders listen. So we have been stressing, no, the importance of active listening here and data gathering through active listening. And then last one, traditional leaders believe it's about them. Servant leaders feel that it's not about them. Okay, they understand that it's not about them. It's about the goal. It's about the vision. It's about the mission. It's about serving others. It's not about the bottom line. It's not about the ROI. It's not about the number of enrollees or the increase in the achievement rate, but it's more on the process. It's more on how we serve the people and how we serve our clients. So now, we have discussed a lot about servant leadership and how they're very good, no, but how they're very effective to many. It even sounds good, no, if you use the word servant leadership. So it's a no-brainer. But at the same time, there are some cons also. So what do you think are the pros and the cons of servant leadership? What do you think are the pros and the cons of servant leadership? Can you place them in the chat box? Your comments. Okay. What are the pros and the cons of servant leadership? Now, maybe we can pause this one for whoever is in charge of the video. If not, then we can proceed. It's okay. I know that there's something on your mind already, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of servant leadership. But here are some. What are the good things of servant leadership. You see better teamwork and collaboration because, syempre, the servant leader confers with his people, his or her people, listens to his or her people, make sure that the his or her people are happy, are satisfied with their work, and they feel that what they do makes sense. That goes to show that the work environment is positive. The turnover because they wish to stay, they're respected more, they're listened to more. So the power to stay is high, and then the companies are agile. No, I mean it's easy for them to move around, okay, in the organization because they listen with each other, they understand each other very well, and they don't need to tiptoe. Innovation is encouraged in this kind of leadership. The culture is very strong, no? And when we talk about culture, syempre, they have a shared culture because their head listens to them. And at the same time, they also give and share what they believe with the leadership. So the culture is being preserved, the culture is being enhanced and cultivated very well. Learning is accelerated because people are remember the leaders make sure that each and every individual flourish in the organization, so learning is accelerated in this case. And then future leaders are also being prepared, no? The second liners are being prepared how to lead because it's part of the process already, no? The servant leaders are making sure that the people develop their skills, and that includes their leadership skills. On the downside, making decision is it will take time because you still have to confirm with your people. In this case, the training investment is high. Again, professional development is given a higher premium in servant leadership. That's why you need to invest more. The direction maybe is unclear in times of crisis. Uh, the opposite of servant leadership, if the leader is top down, the decision making is very fast. In times of crisis, it's easy to make decisions. And servant leaders, they still have to weigh things, and it takes time for that to happen. Okay, to make decisions in times of crisis. And then the leader's role is diminished, of course, because the leader is sharing the leadership role to others in the servant leadership, and it has been proven still to be effective. No? But it's difficult uh, to to organize or to lead an organization that is very big, no, in a servant leadership way. No? Of course, maybe because time decision making will take time, and if there are many people who will participate in that decision making, in that consultation, then large organization may not be suitable to it. So uh, that's why that's why leadership responsibilities must be more defined, no, in large organization. Building on Greenleaf's work, these writers have offered variety of formulations of servant leadership. No? For Larry Spears, meron siyang 10 characteristics. No? Listening, empathy, healing, awareness, persuasion, conceptualization, foresight, commitment of the growth of others, and building community. So that's, we have discussed that already. That's under Larry Spears as he branched out from Greenleaf's work. James Syme and Don Frick, on the other hand, in their book Seven Pillars of Leadership, no, it highlights, no, putting people first, and it says that servant leaders are great communicators, compassionate collaborators. Foresight again is mentioned, and systems thinkers. No, it's the most popular way of approach on leadership. Systems thinkers, and they exercise morality. No? When you say systems thinkers, ito yung ano, di ba? Ito yung broad stroke person. No? You see the bigger picture. But moral authority is also very important. People will not believe you. They will not be persuaded by you if you don't walk your talk. So moral authority is stressed in the book of Syme and Frick. In the Servant Leadership in the Workplace book by Orochi, it highlights three key priorities. That's developing people, building a trusting team, and achieving results. No? The key principles of service first, persuasion, empowerment, and stress, and the three key practices of listening, delegating, and connecting followers to mission. For Kent Keith, in his book, The Case of Servant Leadership, he states that servant leadership is ethical, practical, and meaningful. So it identifies these practices of servant leaders. So I think it was also identified previously. Self-awareness, listening, changing the pyramid, no? From the top down to bottom down, developing young colleagues, coaching, not controlling, unleashing the energy and intelligence of others, and again, foresight. So there's another matrix shown that I got from my research on servant leadership that places no servant leadership in the transformational and democratic quadrant. No? It's not autocratic, it's not laissez-faire, but it's more on transforming people, transforming the organization, and dealing with them in a democratic way. No, it works well there. No, you cannot be a servant leader if you're autocratic, or if you don't have any direction at all, laissez-faire. No, so the the best of it all is if you will emphasize task and people, both that democratic kind of leadership. Okay, these are on the right side are my related literatures, their sources. I will be sending to you my slide, so you can click all this if you want to study more about servant leadership. I will end with this quote from Robert Greenleaf. He said, "Good leaders must first become good servants." So service first before leading, servicing before leading, being a servant first before being a leader. And this one, this idea is never new to us. In fact, 2,000 years ago, it was the Lord Jesus Christ who said, "Whoever wants to be first must take the last place and be the servant of everyone else." So we have informed and we have advised by no less than our Creator about this, and we are just trying to resuscitate this idea, a biblical idea, for us to lead others by serving others. So I hope my report will serve you well, and it's all worth it. Thank you.